Hello there. My name is Monique Davis, and I am one of the behavioral health therapists over at City of Hope, Chicago. Today's video presentation is going to be a guide to self-care, how to relax and renew. This video today is designed to help you look at your life from the inside out. We're going to create some challenges to help you evaluate some of the stressors that you are facing on a daily basis. It's going to require a level of honesty from you so that we can encourage you to be a little bit more flexible in your thinking and hopefully enjoy this presentation as more of an experience. As we navigate through life and our daily stressors, it's important that we take inventory of how we feel, our emotions, how we deal with them. Certain situations, they might leave us feeling strained, burned out. Those might result in some more harmful emotions like being frustrated, angry, scared, or afraid. But not all of our emotions or situations impact us in a negative way. Sometimes we underestimate the feelings of excitement, enjoyment, calm, happiness. All of those things usually are a result of more well-balanced situations. So as we take a deeper dive into some of the emotions that we feel and the situations that leave us feeling burned out, whether that's on our job, in our workplace, in our situations or involvements with family members or other friends, sometimes we have a hard time learning how to cope with some of those more stressful emotions. So hopefully today's presentation is going to help you be able to tap into some very important levels of self-care so that we can take better care of ourselves and take better care of the people around us. These 5 areas of self-care are super essential and important. The physical health, our body, our emotional health, that's our feelings, how we share those feelings with those around us, or do we keep those feelings to ourselves? Our social life, that creates a really important balance as a part of our self-care. Our spirituality, to whatever higher being or higher power that you believe in, that presents a meaning or purpose, a sense of hope for each of us, particularly for those of us that are battling with cancer care, cancer treatment. And then lastly, one of maybe the most underrated or underthought about areas of self-care is our psychological self-care. That includes our mental health, our intellectual growth, our creative juices. How do we keep those things flowing? Because that's the source of a lot of our motivation. So we're going to take a look into some of these areas a little bit more in depth. And I'm going to provide you with some tips and tools to be able to help identify whether or not you're struggling in this area and to present you with some helpful tips to be able to help address that if you do recognize that any of these things need your attention. Let's start with our physical health. There's some physical signs of stress right away. Recognizing those warning signs is going to be one of the most important ways for you to be able to start to make some changes. Are you noticing any poor sleep habits, upset stomach, agitation or restlessness, whether that's during the day or even at night? You're having achy muscles or tension, poor energy levels, even tired or fatigued. I know I sometimes feel that during the day at work because sometimes life's with or without cancer. So if you're noticing any of these habits or warning signs, here are some things that you can do. Prioritize your sleep. That's an essential part of giving your body the necessary rest that it needs. Exercise, healthy diet, those things also help to aid in our body's natural recovery. Developing effective coping skills. That is a surefire way to be able to minimize some of our body's dysregulation efforts, both physically and emotionally. Second is our emotional health. Now, our emotional health is likely the easiest of these 5 areas to ignore, right? How easily we become irritated or frustrated, anxious or jumpy, feeling overworked, struggling with feelings of helplessness. These are all common warning signs that your body might need a little extra emotional TLC. So if this is you, start giving yourself permission to take a pause. creating intentional mindfulness moments every day to help you to relax and reset. Say no to things that are truly unnecessary. Now, you got to be able to do that without any guilt, blame, or shame, because sometimes people will pull on us. And the compassion in our hearts just wants to help everybody, but maybe it's time that we pause and start to help ourselves. Practicing that empathy, that goes for you too. Take time out, manage your stressors. Again, using those coping skills. I'll talk about that in a later slide if you're wondering, how do I go about that? Our third level is our social health. Now, that level of self-care in post-COVID, social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, Snapchat, you name it, right? Those things all have kind of replaced or stood in the gaps for some of our interpersonal relationships and our connections with other people. Are you noticing that you're showing decreased contact with your family members or your friends? Are you having feelings of loneliness? Are you having a decreased sex drive or libido? And often that's a side effect from some cancer care, cancer treatments. Are you avoiding other people intentionally or unintentionally? Or do you feel like others are avoiding you? These are just some of the warning signs. The corrective actions for that, we're going to engage in more social activities face to face with our families and friends. Obviously, we want you to be safe. We want you to be able to practice social distancing if that's still something that you believe firmly in. But we want to help to build a community of care so that we do have people that we can lean on and rely on when we're recognizing any of these listed signs of distress. Increase comfort with your limit setting and your boundary setting with other people. And as always, enhance those coping skills. Our next area of self-care is our spiritual health. Now, this can be a gray area as each of us have different practices, different beliefs. As one of the most common yet underestimated warning signs is losing touch with our faith, because daily we face different hardships, different trials. We focus sometimes more on our past mistakes than we do on our future progress or our goals. We might be angry with our higher power for even being diagnosed with cancer. How did this happen to me? That's something that we hear often. Sometimes we let that emotion kind of lead us away from our faith or our faith-based community. So if this is you, try increasing your daily prayer meditation, talking to a member of your clergy. Here at the hospital, we have pastoral care that is more than open to being able to meet and provide guidance and support in this area. We definitely want to help you to engage throughout your day to further remind you of those beliefs and those core values that you've held close to you. And if you guessed it, I want to always remind you to use your coping skills. Lastly, that's the psychological component. That's where we're talking about mental health, intellectual growth, our creativity. Here at Behavioral Health, we all offer art therapies monthly to be able to help to kind of tap into this level of self-care. Are you noticing any signs of depression, panic attacks, any difficulty remembering things, having a hard time beyond the chemo fog or the chemo brain? Are you feeling grumpy, down, overwhelmed, or frustrated? Are you having a hard time being decisive with decisions? If so, try some of these things. The best ways to be able to combat those signs is to challenge yourself, to try new engaging activities that might motivate or inspire you to tap into that creative realm. Nurture your creativity, whether that's drawing or coloring. Some people journal, art, music. Remind yourself of your strengths using positive statements or words of affirmation. Those all, if you haven't guessed it, those are coping skills. And if, like so many of you, you're wondering, like, how is it that I can start? I don't know where to begin. Well, obviously, we want to be proactive because these levels of self-care, they make up who you are as a person. So the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual realms of self-care, they all make up the complete picture perfect person of who you are. So if you're wondering, what does that look like, right? We want to be able to create some intentional routines in our habits to build a healthier self. We want to incorporate fun in our day, enjoyment. We're going to work on our self-esteem and our levels of self-worth. Our therapists here at City of Hope Chicago are more than happy to help you to start to make some necessary changes to be able to bring care back to self. Do we need to work on time management? How are we improving our prioritizing our tasks? Making to-do lists if we need to do, checking those things off so that we physically can visually see that we've got some success in some of those areas. Are we laughing? Are we engaging and having a good time with the people around us? How are we accepting change? Because change happens frequently and every single day. And then next we'll talk about how to implement some of those coping skills and coping strategies. Those can include deep breathing, music is therapy, muscle relaxation, meditation. There's so many things that can create positive distractions or cognitive coping methods, even physical things that you can do to be able to create some tension release in the moment. Mindfulness moments are just small increments of time throughout your day that you can take a moment to use any one of the things here on this coping skills list, whether that's taking a quick walk, drawing, doodling on paper, making a puzzle, you name it, reading, singing a song, even just listening to soft music in your background. Those are all mindfulness things that you can use to help create a better set of healthy coping for the stressors that you might face day to day. Practically, these are some of our most common that are easily used. Music therapy, it helps to alleviate all of those emotional tensors and stressors that are caused by cancer. It helps boost your mood, help you throughout your treatment journey and recovery. And they can be done anywhere you are. So can deep breathing. That's deep breathing, taking in a nice deep breath, taking it in through your nose, holding it for 4 seconds, and blowing it slowly out through your mouth for 6 seconds. That focuses the mind on the breathing, replacing those worries and other thoughts throughout the day that might cause you anxiety or distress. Guided imagery is another awesome one. This is where we take a moment to create this imagination in our mind that takes us to a place that gives us pleasant memories, pleasant thoughts, a place that provides us with a sense of peace, safety, or comfort. We use those in moment. If I'm having a rough day, as I did this morning, I just take about 60 seconds to put myself on a beautiful beach in the heart of Hawaii, looking at the waves, and I can hear the whistling of the wind. So that then reshapes cognitively my thought process away from the stressful event and then putting that onto something that's a little bit more pleasurable and desirable. Remember, you are the most important person in your story. When things get rough, remind yourself of all that you are. Hopefully, some of these coping tools are things that you can tangibly use throughout your day. And if you need additional help and support, behavioral health here at City of Chicago is here to help you through it. You've got this.